Justice Brothers Car Care products have been used and trusted by professional mechanics for more than 60 years. The benefits to your car will be shown in the following demonstrations. Next to your home, your car is your second biggest investment. Here's some information to help you protect that investment.
Hello, I'd like to show you a demonstration of Justice Brothers engine tune-up using this smaller field version of a much larger laboratory testing machine. We have a moving bearing surface against a stationary bearing surface. A crankcase is just like the crankcase on your car that holds the motor oil. Each 1 pound weight I add out here at the end of this lever equals 100 pounds of pressure at this point where they meet. And remember, we have one moving surface against a stationary one, sort of like a crankshaft against a crankshaft bearing or the piston against the cylinder wall in your car. Let's add some motor oil. Now, the type of motor oil you use is not important. Your favorite motor oil would be fine. And let's put this bearing arm back on here and turn the machine on. We have a nice bath of motor oil right there. We'll let this down. 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, and we get metal to metal. This is replicating thousands of miles of wear in just a few seconds. We actually squeeze the motor oil out from between the metal surfaces. Notice this wear mark. It's relatively large and it's dull and dry. In a minute you'll see what dull and dry really is when you see how we polish it with Justice Brothers engine tune-up. We'll put this arm back on here and I'll show you we're right back where we were, seized up at 3 weights with the motor oil. Let's add a little Justice Brothers engine tune-up. Once Justice Brothers engine tune-up rubs into the metal surfaces, and as it says on the can, it treats the metal, not the oil. Actually goes into the micropores of the metal surfaces. We'll add another weight, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds. Twice the pressure and still running. Easier starts in any weather with the full load on it. Take the weights off and let's show you the wear mark here. Notice how it's polished now. It stopped the wear and polished the mark. We'll turn this bearing surface to a new position. So this will be in a new unused position and we're going to have a worn used position over here. This is similar to if you go to the mechanic and you need some repairs on your car and you don't want to spend the money to have all new parts put in and you just have it sort of patched up. You're going to have a used part against a new part. The big difference is, though, we have Justice Brothers engine tune-up in the motor oil this time. Let's turn this on. You hear that bearing surface? That's the rough running against the smooth. So we have a rough part, a used part against a smooth part, Justice Brothers engine tune-up in the oil. We'll set this down. 100, 200 pounds with the motor oil, you start to get a squeal. 300 pounds, it's seized completely. Stopped, no lubrication. 400, 500, 600 pounds, and it's still running. Let's look at the wear mark this time. Notice how small the wear mark is compared to before? That's twice the pressure running against a used surface, and it's just a fraction of the wear. Don't you think your car would benefit from a can of Justice Brothers engine tune-up?
For peak performance and fuel economy, a clean fuel system is a must. That's why Justice Brothers developed its clean-burning fuel injection system cleaner.
If you have dirty fuel injectors or water in your fuel system, let me show you this quick demonstration. Let's take this test tube and fill it with about a ½ inch of water. Now let's add about 1 inch of Justice Brothers fuel injection system cleaner. I'll turn the test tube over to simulate the mixing in your gas tank as you drive. Notice how the Justice Brothers fuel injection system cleaner mixes with the water, holding it in suspension so it would be carried through the fuel system and removed. Now let's pour the contents into this plate. We're going to burn both of these to simulate their passing through your engine's combustion chamber. I'll light the Justice Brothers fuel injection system cleaner first. Notice how clean it burns with no ash residue in the flame. I'll hold this piece of paper over it so you can see it is truly burning. We'll take another test tube and fill it up with a 1/2 inch of water. This time, let's use another competitive brand of fuel injection system cleaner. I'll add 1 inch of this other brand just like before. Again, we'll turn this over to simulate the mixing in the fuel tank. Notice that the competitive brand does not mix with the water. In fact, they separate like oil and water. We'll pour the contents into another plate. Now let's light the competitive product. Notice how hard it is to light. And once we finally get it burning, how much smoke and soot it gives off. There's no problem seeing that this one is burning. Now that both of these are burned out, look at the after effects on the plates. The Justice Brothers plate is clean with no residue. The competitive products plate is dirty with carbon deposits. You can see that Justice Brothers fuel injection system cleaner cleans your car's fuel injection system and leaves it clean. It also removes water from your car's fuel system caused by normal operation.
If you've ever had a leaky radiator, you'll appreciate this Justice Brothers product.
Let me demonstrate Justice Brothers radiator stop leak and how it stops your radiator leaks while you drive. We've taken this can and punched some holes in the bottom of it to simulate a leaky radiator. Let's take and fill it back up with water. I'm going to take some Justice Brothers radiator stop leak on this toothbrush. Place it in the can and stir it up. Once it goes into suspension, it stops the leak. It takes 3 things to make this a semi-permanent seal: heating, pressure, and circulation of the cooling system. Let's pour this back into the untreated water. Notice how it still stops the leak? Justice Brothers radiator stop leak has been developed in our laboratory to solve the problem.
For surface lubrication throughout your vehicle, garage, or shop, use Justice Brothers JB80.
Let me show you a demonstration of Justice Brothers JB80 spray lubricant. We'll use this field version of a much larger laboratory testing machine. Each 1 pound weight I add here equals 100 pounds here. This is a classic lubrication problem, a moving surface against a stationary one. Let's turn the machine on. I'll take some of the leading spray lubricant and spray it on the surfaces. Now I'll add the weights. 100, 200, 300 pounds, and you get metal to metal, squeezing out the lubrication from between the metal surfaces. Let's look at the wear mark. Notice how dull and dry it is. Let's put it back on and I'll show you we're right back where we started. Now let's take Justice Brothers JB80. Once it rubs into the micropores of the metal, it sets up a protective shield. 400, 500, 600 pounds and still running. Let's look at the wear mark now. Notice how the wear mark is polished and shiny. It stopped the wear. We'll take this bearing and turn it to a new spot. Now we have a new surface against an old surface. This surface has been treated, this surface hasn't. I'll let you hear the rough sawtooth edges. We won't spray any more JB80 on the surfaces. We'll use just what we have on that one surface. 100 pounds. 200 pounds with the leading spray lubricant and it started to squeal. 300 pounds, you got metal to metal and it stopped running. This time with Justice Brothers JB80, it's still running. 400, 500, 600 pounds of pressure and it's still running. Let's look at the wear mark now. Hardly a mark. And let's compare it to the last mark. Twice the pressure and hardly a mark. This has been a demonstration of Justice Brothers JB80, the incredible spray lubricant that's twice as good as the leading brand.
Trusted by professional mechanics for over 60 years, Justice Brothers Car Care products. Shouldn't you trust them for your car?